This November, no matter the outcome, we will elect our 47th chief executive. But first, we're going to take a look back at how the presidents became president. This is your countdown to 47. Now to wobbly Warren G. Harding. Prior to becoming the 29th president, at the age of 19, Harding bought an Ohio newspaper, becoming not only its owner, but its publisher. After 15 years of this, Harding's network of connections helped him begin his political career with his election to the Ohio State Senate, taking office in 1899. From there, he went on to hold the post of the state's lieutenant governor. In 1912, he gave the nominating address for President Taft at the Republican National Convention. 2 years later, Harding was elected to the United States Senate, where he spent the remainder of the decade. His time in that role was set to the backdrop of the First World War. And in 1920, when the Republican National Convention deadlocked on a candidate for president, his fellow senators successfully lobbied for Harding's nomination. Harding ran on a platform of, quote, a return to normalcy. While it was a rather vague platform, it was incredibly effective. Harding and his running mate Calvin Coolidge of Massachusetts won the election with 63% of the popular vote, handily defeating the Democratic ticket of James M. Cox of Ohio and his running mate Franklin Delano Roosevelt of New York. Harding was now set to become the 29th President of the United States. President Harding sought to lead the nation out of the shadow of World War I. Harding, with aid from a Republican-controlled Congress, eliminated wartime controls and cut taxes in favor of establishing a federal budget system, as well as reinstating a high tariff. The country began to experience growth in economic prosperity, eventually leading to what we now know as the Roaring Twenties. President Harding, in his time, was quite popular. However, behind the scenes, the Harding administration was rife with corruption. Members of his cabinet had been using their official statuses to enrich themselves. The most famous of these scandals was Teapot Dome. Harding's Secretary of the Interior, Albert Fall, had leased Navy petroleum reserves, including one named Teapot Dome in Wyoming, as well as two in California, to oil companies at low rates. Secretary Fall later resigned and was convicted of bribery, a first in U.S. history. How much President Harding knew about these scandals is unknown, although in the summer of 1923, while traveling to California with Secretary of Commerce Herbert Hoover, he asked if he should go public with what he knew. Hoover told him that he should, but before Harding had the chance, he died of a heart attack in San Francisco on August 2nd. Warren G. Harding served as President of the United States from 1921 until his death in 1923. The corruption within his administration has since become his legacy. Calvin Coolidge was about to take the reins, and Silent Cal made it his mission to restore prestige to the presidency. I'm Eric George for Valley News Live, and this has been your countdown to 47.